and kind of what if happened. There's some records broken. Obviously, the games weren't the greatest, but a big stat that kind of came out, obviously, on Christmas, you have the NFL now. It's always been the NBA that's had the Christmas games, right? You're a little bit more of an NBA guy over there, Chappie. Me, not so much. But they're showing the viewership between the NBA and the NFL. NFL, 24.2 million viewers tuned into the NFL games. And for the NBA, it was only 5.25 million viewers. Now, with that, I kind of ask you, like, how do you feel about the NBA product and where it's at in comparison to the NFL right now?
Yeah, I saw that stat line. I wasn't. There was two parts of that. Did they just shift focus? Right, like in some part of it, I saw that comparison. I was like, all right, was it 5 million of this year? That was like, were they comparing 5 million viewers this year compared to the 24 million, or was it 5 million from last year when there wasn't any Christmas games?
No, that's viewership this year.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm curious about. Then I'd be curious to see what the stat was of the viewership when there was only NBA on and not conflicting with the NFL games, because I myself, I did tune into the NFL games over the NBA games, and then later put on, I think it was Golden State and somebody, I can't remember exactly, but that was like, I turned on basketball, but it was post football. So I honestly, I'd be curious if you took that same number and you look back at last year and see if it was the same viewership. But the product as a whole, like, I don't think the NBA is really dealing with, like, I keep hearing this narrative that the NBA doesn't have any fucking superstars. And I keep laughing at that because I think it's such a stupid take that the NBA actually probably has one of the greatest players of all time playing right now in the NBA, and no one's paying any fucking mind to it in Nikola Jokic. And by the way he was playing. So maybe it's just a product issue that they're having in terms of like pushing the player, because it's not like a LeBron James. It's not.
Well, he's not an American either,
it's
right?
Not
like you can't really market him the same way you would a big American.
Yeah, but like that to me is crazy, because you do have that in it. You have Luka, you have these guys. Luka's hurt, but like you have these big players, and all of them happen to be European or like of the world, not American, and then it's hard to, I guess, market that in the States. I don't know if that's a problem. Like, to me, I'm just like, you this narrative of like LeBron has to be playing on Christmas Day in order for something to like pull, but LeBron's fading off. And like, that's, so now you have to find that next player. And they're trying to run through all the names. They're like, Giannis. Okay, well, Giannis. Okay, cool. Then Shea. Well, Shea's Canadian. And now they're like, oh, fuck. Like, we got Anthony Edwards and we got Jason Tatum. No one likes Jason Tatum right now because of his corny ass shit. And Edwards is actually
you can't
sick.
Market somebody.
You
who
can market
everybody
the shit out of
Andrew
Edwards. You can market the shit, and they have, and they've done a really good job with it. Yeah. But and it, like, honestly, like the old style MJ vids for like that he's done has been sick, and I've loved them. Are cool. But like, they're just having a problem with this narrative right now, and it's like, yo, just, you know, maybe compare the fact that Nikola Jokic guy's box plus minus is like the best of all time right now. If you're going to look at it like this, like, you have the guy, too bad he wants to play with his horses and go back to Serbia. Like, unfortunate, but fuck, like, I think it's so funny. I like, in comparison to the NFL, that's why I bring that up, is like, well, everyone knows what football is to America. Like,
it's fucking religion.
It's religion. So what are we going to say? Like, could you put baseball on there? No, it's going to get fucking smoked. Now, they're not playing baseball on Christmas, but like, it's just not the same viewership. It never has been. So like, NBA in bulk is definitely pulling a huge market now in the States, but NFL has always reigned supreme and will continue to reign supreme, because we talked about it, it's a condensed game. So now you're throwing that condensed game on Christmas, boom, that's on my TV guaranteed. Like, guaranteed.
Yeah. See, when I look at it, I don't watch too much NBA. I do follow it a little bit. I think when you say like the stars are dying off, like LeBron James, Steph Curry, I think that's, you know, like the rivalries between those two stars and what it was kind of like. I don't know if there's any of those narratives right now. Like, are there any big, you know, star against star narratives in the NBA? Any team versus team narratives? Like, in the NFL, it's easy to draw those, like,
Mhm.
Ravens Chiefs things. Like, you have those narratives everywhere, intra-division things. Those are big. And because you only play so many games, obviously it's a big thing.
Yeah.
But in the
Yeah.
NBA, you don't have that anticipation for things like that.
The
I feel like
NBA
at the
is
moment.
dealing right now with like a problem of like their stars playing, right? And they're trying to incentivize in every which way.
That
They're
is the
having
other thing
in-season
too.
tournaments,
Yeah.
and they're pushing that the 65 games is like a baseline that these guys have to play. And so like this is definitely a part to it where like in order to have those big games, you need to have those big players play. And I think that's what they're struggling with right now. And there wasn't a huge like a huge game that I would say like pulled any attention. But like, Christmas, Mahomes is playing, like it's hard to like pull away from what the NFL is also pushing onto us, right? So it's like you want to see that and you want to be like, oh, Steelers sick, like maybe they can take these guys down, and that's
Yeah.
a good narrative, right? So that, and people want to see that. Everyone who's not a Chiefs fan wants to see that. So
Yeah. Oh,
and
for
then
sure.
lo and behold, fucking stinker, you get smoked. But
Yeah.
that's what you should have expected.
Yeah, crazy. And we're going to touch on that. But
Yeah.
funny thing, you mentioned baseball. I forget, I saw this the other day. Somebody said that apparently, I can't remember where this was. Somebody said the MLB was a dying sport, and that
Cam Newton.
soon, was it Cam Newton that
Yeah,
said the
the
WNBA
WNBA.
would pass the MLB?
Yeah.
And I was like,
Get a little heat for that. Yeah.
that's a
hot take.
pretty fucking hot take. Oh yeah, that's a hot take.
It was in 20 years.
Appreciate the support
Yeah.
for the ladies, but
Yeah.
man, that's a hot take, especially with the MLB. Man, they got some stars right now.
Yeah.
With Shohei and everything that's going on there too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they need to do a little bit better of like, but I will say the last couple seasons have been much better with the changes that they made. The pitch clock, the stolen base is back in the game. Like, there's a lot of good things that the MLB has done. They just need to
speeding the
continue
game
to do
up was a lot
They've
better
sped up
too.
the game, right? Like it's a pastime, man. Like people go to the ballpark to like hang out, have a few drinks. See a few balls get hit. A lot of people don't even pay attention to the game a lot of the time. And that's the unfortunate part. That's the narrative that's been built, and that's kind of how it's played out. But that take, I saw that and I was like, Cam, what the fuck are you saying, man? Like that's
tough.
crazy.
It was a tough take. And we talk about that. Like, yeah, sure, if your team's not in the playoffs, sports suck, man. And for baseball, it's a drawn out process. Like, it's dry, man. Like, we watched the Jays.
Yeah.
They sucked last year. It's not fun watching a baseball team play that many games when they suck, right? But when you look at the playoffs and like years back when we had the Donaldson era where we were in the playoffs, like that was some of the most electric times to be a baseball fan, is when your team is on the run in the playoffs. Like, that's amazing.
So, playoff ball is by far, I think, pitch to pitch, the most entertaining sport when it comes down to it, because anything can happen, and that hit, that pitch, that strikeout is so much more meaningful in those tight fucking moments. And playoff baseball is fucking incredible. This past playoff baseball, this past World Series was fucking incredible. Like the whole thing, actually, all the playoff ball was fucking sweet. So
and I mean, like, you're not going to take advice from Cam Newton on baseball, probably. So
no,
we get it, Cam. But I think the only thing I take from these other leagues in North America is the amount of games that they play, and just the way that the sports they're kind of going, like hockey, the NBA, MLB. Like, there's just too many fucking in-season games now. When we look at the product of football, we always talk about scarcity on this show, and why it's made the NFL what it is today is because of that. That's why it's so good. You look at the NBA and all this load management shit. It's like, well, just play less fucking games in the season then, and let's not do all this fluffy nonsense and make everything mean a little bit more. But then you look at the revenue and all that stuff. Like, you're not going to not. If anything, they want to play more shitty games to get more money. Like, they're not going to take it away, right?
Yeah. No, the funniest thing is, like, I want